Okay, and I believe we are live. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody from home, from all parts of Philippines. Hello, it's Youth Talks back for another episode, and tonight's guest is very legendary. I'm pretty sure all of the people from the Philippines, if you're Filipino, if you've been to the Philippines, then you surely know who he is. For tonight, we have Kuya Kim. Hello, Kuya Kim. Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
good evening, and good evening to all viewers and all of those who follow this webcast. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to be here today and to be able to share whatever I know, especially at this time of uh,
Okay.
of a pandemic. No, we never knew
Yes,
that a pandemic of biblical proportions would actually hit us in our lifetime. No, imagine how the life
exactly.
can turn 180 degrees just like that, and
Just
we're
in a
in.
snap, Kuya Kim. Yes, exactly. And okay, so first question. This is my favorite question to ask all of my guests, Kim, because this really tells me how, it gives me a quite deeper definition of who they are as a person. So, Kuya Kim, as a legendary TV personality, actor, weather anchor, triathlete, a former politician, and most importantly, a Kuya Kim, are you a risk taker or safe player?
I'm a risk taker.
A risk taker, why?
A risk taker. There are times in my life when it's good to be safe, but when pushed to take a risk, I'm not afraid to take risks. Actually,
Okay,
the point in my life now, wherein, as you said, yeah, I'm legendary. But thank you for saying that. But I don't think I'm legendary, naman. A legendary
really?
people who are dead. I'm still alive.
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
have I became Kuya Kim because I took a risk. But that risk that I took was guided by something that is more powerful than just mere risk taking. It was guided by prayer. Whenever I take a
Wow.
risk and whenever I do something that is beyond me, I consult with my Lord and I pray first. I pray first. And when the prayer,
Okay.
when he speaks to me and he says, go ahead and jump, then the parachute will appear. So
Okay. Wow. Wow. That's such a good analogy, KK. Wow. Thank you. And I want to ask you this personally. Okay. From Cali to Kuya Kim, how are you? How are you dealing with quarantine?
well, quarantine brought out a lot of things that I didn't know existed within me, Um, and these are things that seem not to be good, but in the long term is actually good. What do I
Okay.
mean?
How?
I'm 53 years old, and I thought that I was done with my midlife crisis. I never had to go through midlife crisis at 53. And then in the midst of quarantine, I found myself very insecure and I found myself very needy. And I found
Wow.
myself not knowing certain people, parts of my members of my family, who I supposed to know because we've never been together for 5 months, 24/7.
Yeah.
We're so used to just doing our things in the morning and being our best for each other. The kids go to school, Fanny goes for her work, and I go to train to my work, and then we meet each other at the end of the day, and then we spend time with each other on weekends. That was our schedule for many, many, many years. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, we find ourselves 24/7 in each other's
Around
face,
each other. Yes.
and then you realize certain things about yourself and about others that you don't know, and it can be quite awkward and the cause for adjustment. And
Yeah.
adjustment is never comfortable, no. Uh,
Yes, I believe you. Yes, and I can also confide. I feel you, Kikim, because as a kid myself, being around my parents, sometimes it is a good thing because I love my mom. I love my mom with all my heart. But then at the same time, you can. I'm sorry, mom, if you're watching. You kind of get sick of it. You seeing the same person every day, having the same routine. Just I'm really praying that things do get better and we go back to our normal lifestyle. You know.
Well, things will do get better. No? God works all things for good for those who love Him and those who are called according to His purpose. And um, short term, we think it's going to be ugly or the new normal is going to be very hard to adjust to. But the plan is good. And I'm
Yeah.
excited for the real plan that after all this awkwardness and all this adjustment, how the world will become and how humans will be. No? But
Yeah, things will be better. Yeah,
it will be
yeah,
better,
I
definitely.
believe so too.
I believe so.
Okay,
And I'm
yeah,
excited for that new better. I don't want to call it the
yes,
new normal, but it will be the new better.
the new better. Yeah, wow. I'm gonna use that. Is it okay if I start using that, Kuya Kim?
Of course,
I'll
yeah.
I'll just credit you. I'll credit you from Kuya Kim. The new better. Okay, and okay, now let's talk about getting better, Kuya Kim. And
Mm.
I believe that getting better means being physically and mentally better. So, talking about physically and mentally betterness, how do you keep fit? How do you keep
Well,
fit during this
during
hard times?
during ECQ, I was very fortunate to have indoor workout equipment. I have an indoor
Mm-hmm.
I have a treadmill, and then I have a bike trainer. And I got into Zwift. In Zwift, kasi it's a bike program wherein you compete with other cyclists virtually,
Mm.
and it makes you very
Virtually, wow.
cyclist because of my indoor biking, Zwift. And then I was doing my treadmill every other day. I was biking every other day and running every other day. Um,
Yeah.
but what helped me was instilling in my mind a routine that I had to follow. Even if I didn't have to follow it, I had to follow in my mind. I had to follow the routine to keep me sane. But there was something to look forward to every single day. Otherwise, without that routine, the day would have dragged on so long and so boring, and that will make you just very anxious about whatever, you know. So to keep
Yeah.
mental health uh, good, in good condition, I had to keep a routine. And that routine worked. And that routine was a routine of spiritual fitness and then physical fitness. I usually started the day, this is ECQ. No? Now, kasi it's GCQ in Manila, so I'm able to go out and do things, the normal things that I used to do. Of course, with caution and with care. But during ECQ, when people were not allowed to go out, I started my day waking up at around 6:15, 6:30 with a prayer. And then I would
It's
join
really wow.
a worship group, a worship service in Victory, which is my church, and that will go on till around 7:30. And then at 7:30, I join my Zwift group. So we cycle for about an hour and a half indoors. While we're cycling and following that computer program, we would Zoom. No? So I had my phone for my Zoom.
Yeah.
I had the program. So I'd be talking to my friends while we're competing with each other. So it was quite good, and I look forward to that
Yeah.
every. And then
Power
after,
of technology.
yeah, the power of technology and social media. And then at 11 o'clock, I started a podcast, a Facebook podcast, uh, six,
Wow.
6 months ago, daily, 11 o'clock to
Okay.
11.
And
Actually,
it's still going on until now. Okay.
it's
Okay.
been going on up to now, no? And it's called Kwentuhan with Kuya Kim on my Facebook page. And
Okay. I'll be sure to check it out.
it's just kwentuhan lang. If you're feeling anxious or I just give it's a bit of Bible study and a bit of
Okay.
trivia, and I show my animals, and it's a house tour, and then I show
Wow.
cycles and all that, and it's been going on for six months already, and it's been going strong. I have a
Okay.
regular viewership of maybe about 7,000 a day, and that's quite a responsibility to be able to inspire
Yeah.
them
That's quite the audience.
and to connect to all these people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a
And
routine is very important. A routine is very
yeah.
important. Now that we're
Okay.
in GCQ, I still follow routine, but not indoors. I love the outdoor things. I'm always out, and I believe that COVID-19 is something that we have to swim, dance, swim, bike, and run and dance with. No, we cannot be immobilized and paralyzed by it and staying indoors when businesses are dying. Yeah, during ECQ, uh, we had to stay indoors for the frontliners. But at this point, after 6 months, we have to stay. We have to live normally and support the businesses that are around us. Otherwise,
Yeah.
businesses will die naman. So it's a
Yeah.
tightrope. We're walking. No, we have to live
Yeah.
with COVID-19.
We
This
have
is
to start recovering, the
yeah,
start the path to recovery.
COVID-19 is here to stay. This will not go away soon. This is going to be here for maybe another year and another year
Yeah.
of just staying indoors. If you can afford it, fine. But businesses are dying, and businesses need to be supported, and you have to be out there
Yeah.
with care, with care.
With care. With care.
Yeah,
Yes.
and just
Yes. And Kuya Kim, I would like to highlight that routine. I want to talk about that because as a child, as a young person with such a different style of living, I have a different lifestyle from like you, from a person like you. Um, can we talk about how important a routine is? Because for me, I like to live my life spontaneously. Usually I have school, yes, but I have some days where I think about, okay, I'm gonna go for a swim. I'm gonna go swim. But then I never plan it. So can you try to convince me what is so important about the routine? Why does it keep you mentally and physically healthy?
a routine kasi, um, the mind is able to make decisions, a finite amount of decisions per day. No? Um,
Okay.
you cannot decide unlimitedly, meaning the mind is designed to make an X number of decisions effectively.
Yes.
If if a routine is there, then you don't have to decide on trivial matters on what time to work out, what time to wake up, what to wear. The routine's there already. It's set, no?
Mm.
So the mind is reserved for decisions of more import that are more important rather than your schedule.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Now I see it. Now I see it.
No? So, like the most successful people in the world, let's say like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs.
Mm.
Steve Jobs, what does he wear every day? He wears a sweater and jeans every single time because that
Yeah.
eliminates one decision that he has to make whenever he wakes up. Because when he wakes up, it's automatic. He wears the same thing. So his
Yeah.
mind is reserved for making decisions that are so important for his company, for Apple.
Wow.
Diba?
Okay.
Same thing with the routine for an ordinary person. The routine is already set. What time will I wake up? What will I do after I wake up? What will I do at this time? So when important decisions have to be made with job and with family, then the decisions are fresh because your mind is not tired from making all these trivial, spontaneous decisions. Now,
Wow.
a spontaneity should not be lost also, no? Within the
Okay.
routine naman, you have times also that you can be spontaneous. Eh. Diba?
Mm.
But your whole life cannot just be spontaneous. There has to be a plan, and the plan has to
There
be
has to be a plan.
has to,
Yes.
yeah. You can't just
Okay.
be too spontaneous. Otherwise, you're like a hippie in the '60s. Okay,
Yeah.
life is fun, life is cool, peace, but where are you gonna go, diba? Then there's no vision.
I agree. I agree. Okay. And okay, now let's talk about your healthy lifestyle. So
Hmm.
I want to ask something, Kuya Kim, because of right now you're mature. Okay. I don't want to say you're of age because you're just a young hearted one like me, you know? Um ever since you were a kid, were you always into the healthy lifestyle? Like what started your healthy lifestyle?
Actually, yes, I was always healthy. Unlike my kids now are into their computers, into their devices, and social
Yeah.
media and all that, and whatever games they play online. When I was a kid, I grew up in the streets, and I played patintero, and I played chato, and I played all these street games. I ran in the street. I ran races in the street. I was very physical. So I grew up
Wow.
as a kid that was exposed to physical activities on the street. Like many kids my age, I played football. I was into sports and all that. And then in the 80s, I got into bodybuilding. I was
Mm.
lifting weights, and then I was competing actually as a bodybuilder. So I have muscles. But my mistake was in the 90s when I got into politics, I thought that my fitness that I built in the 80s, my bodybuilding lifestyle, would carry over. So I forgot about working out and I forgot about living healthy and I got fat. I was about 190 pounds when I was in politics. And then it carried over during my first years in ABS-CBN. This was in 2004. I was not fit still up until I got sick. In 2010, I
Oh
suffered
no.
a stroke. So when I suffered a stroke, I said, okay, I'm going to be the healthiest Kim I can be again. I promised the Lord and I said, if you make me well, then I will be the healthiest me I can be. I'm going to get into triathlon. I'm going to be a marathon runner. I'm going to be an athlete. And I did. So I ran marathons. I joined half Ironman races, then full Ironman races, and then world marathon majors. And I ran so many marathons because my promise to God was to get fit. And that
Yeah.
lifestyle has been going on since 2010. But that's only
Wow.
half of it. That's physical fitness. Because I became spiritually fit as well after getting sick again for the second time. In
Oh my.
2021, I was at the peak of my fitness and training for my first full Ironman in Western
Yeah.
Australia when I found myself paralyzed. And I was in ICU with a rare disorder called GBS or Guillain-Barré syndrome. And then I talked to my God again. I talked to the Lord. What is it that you want from me? You give me a stroke, and then I promise to be the best me I can be, and then you make me well. And then I run marathons, and now that I'm the best me I can be because I can do a full Ironman, you make me paralyzed. What is it you want from me? What? And then
Wow.
a verse came to me. It's actually tattooed in my arm.
Okay. And can you tell me what's tattooed in your arm, Kuya Kim?
Here. My grace is sufficient for you. That's my life verse. My grace is sufficient for you. It was when I was
Wow.
paralyzed in ICU in Manila, in Makati Med, when I realized that I was totally powerless. And His
Yeah.
grace was all I needed. Just, just, just to be forgiven of my sins and to know that I'm gonna go to heaven after was all I needed. And then the motto of Iron Man kasi then in the back in 2013 was I can. It was in my coffee mug. I can. In my T-shirt. I can. It was in my notes. I can.
I can.
I can. That day when I was paralyzed and I couldn't do anything, I realized that I can. There's nothing I
Yeah.
can do. So I changed it to God can. Only God can. I can only do this
Wow.
through Him who gives me strength, and His grace is all I need. And His power is made perfect in my weakness. Those are my life verses, all tattooed within my arms. And I got well again. But this
Wow.
time, I got faster. I ran more marathons.
Okay.
I did more Ironman races. But this time, knowing where the power comes from. And the power is not from me. Because I can, but only God can. So that's it.
Wow. That is so inspiring right there. Wow. That as simple as two words, you know? You just change the first word to God. God can. You
God
know,
can. We can't
that
do it.
is crazy inspiring right there, Kuya Kim. And here, since you you have experienced so much in your life, I
Hmm.
don't, as a young person, I want to know, can you please give me any tips on how to keep going, staying fit during quarantine? Okay, how to be ready for those
Okay.
kind of obstacles in
Okay.
my life.
There's one way for you to be able to sustain it. No, whatever you do, you have to be able to sustain, and you sustain it if you enjoy it. So it has to be integrated in your lifestyle because you enjoy doing it. If you have to force yourself to run every single day, then you won't sustain it. At a certain point, you'll say, "My knees are painful, and I'm
Wow.
not going to do it."
Yeah.
How do you do it, and how do you enjoy it? You start small. You don't run
Okay.
10K right away if you don't run. If you haven't run in your life, you run 30 minutes lang. Or walk, run 30 minutes. And while you're walking and running 30 minutes, do it at a pace where you're enjoying it. And then every week, just add on 10%, just 10% of the distance.
Okay.
If you're doing like 5 kilometers now, this weekend, do 6.5 kilometers. And the next weekend, do 8 kilometers. Next weekend, do 10 kilometers. And after about 2 or 3 months, you'll be surprised. With a 10% increment every week, you'll be able you'll be able to run a half marathon already.
Wow.
And then
Yeah.
full marathon. Enjoying it, not hurting yourself in the process, but in minute
Yeah.
increments lang. So you don't burn
Yes.
out. And then number
Yes.
two, these endurance sports that you want to get into, let's say like running, no? There's a plethora of information that we can get on the net. There is Google University on how to run. People think kasi that when you run, it's instinctive. The way you run
Yeah.
in basketball and the way you run
A
for any
marathon.
is very different from running a
Oh.
marathon, running long distance.
How?
Um,
How?
because when you run in basketball, you run with your legs because you want to go
Okay.
to a point B the soonest possible time to be able to get to the ball the soonest possible time. So the
Yeah.
stride is long and you hit your heels and basta you run with your legs.
Yeah.
And that's fine for short explosive distances. But if you are to run 42 kilometers, then you learn a technique that's so counterintuitive. You do not run
Okay.
with your legs. Your
How do
legs,
you run, Kuya Kim?
you run with your core. So you stiffen your core. And then when your core is stiff, you think of yourself as a log that's falling forward. And as you're falling forward, the legs are just there to pick up the fall. You're using gravity to push you forward. And the legs is just
Wow.
to pick you up. You don't run with your legs.
Okay.
You run with your core using gravity. So you can
So wow, you really that's a really smart way to think. I never thought of that. I have
hmm,
ran in my life. You know, I personally am an athlete. I play football, Kuya Kim, but
hmm.
yeah, in football,
You
I
run with your legs.
really,
You
yeah,
run
I
with your
run with my legs. You know, I put it in my head. Okay, legs, do your best,
yeah,
run. You know,
yeah,
explosive, like what you said, explosive distance. You know,
yeah. For
and
football, that's
in
fine.
marathon, yeah,
Marathon running is different. Actually, I want to show you my, I'll show you the medals that I, wait, at least
Yes, yes, please. Yes, please.
I will show you the different medals that I won.
Okay.
These
Get
are
ready for this, viewers.
these are
Wow.
the local races, the local marathons and half marathons that I joined, a few hundred of them. These are four of my world major marathons that I ran.
Wow. International.
Among them Boston. Boston is one of them, and then Tokyo, New York. I did New York twice, and then Berlin recently. And then over
Okay.
there, those are that's my ring light. That over there is those are my Ironman and half Ironman races. And then those are
Okay.
French marathons that I run below. The French marathons are close to my heart because the first marathon that I ran was the Marathon du Médoc. And the marathon
Okay.
costume run in Bordeaux, France. And
Okay. Well, that's fun.
I ran it 4 times. So the 4 medals are over there. And then the half Ironman races that I joined, about 11 of them, and one full Ironman, the world major marathons, and then the local marathons. So all my medals are in front of me just to inspire me to keep at it and being the best.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for showing. Thank you for showing that. That's an exclusive view of Kuya Kim's medals. Okay. And Kuya Kim, if just a little pakulo for this interview that we have, conversation that we have, I'd like to play a short little fun game, I guess, it's called Ano Ito, Ma'am Sir, and roll the intro.
Say what?
Do you see it? Do you see? Okay. I want to start with this, Kuya Kim. Please, okay? All you have to do in this short little pakulo is I would like to have an explanation from you. Please explain what is going on in the photo.
This was 5 years ago in Showtime.
Okay,
Every
yeah.
Showtime, we have our anniversary gig called Magpasikat. So we're teamed up with each other, and then we compete against each other for the best performance, no? And 5 years ago, I teamed up with Ann Curtis. This was Ann Curtis and Eruption and Eric Tai.
Mm-hmm.
And the theme was environment. Parang we're fighting for the environment.
Okay.
This was a symbol of forest denudation and the cutting of trees in the forest. I was cutting my hair, and I was like Mother Nature suffering like that.
Wow. So that also explains the facial expression that you have. That's Mother Earth.
The highlight of the performance. So Anchor her thing, death defying, and then Eruption did these muscular things, and I had my head shaved. That was the first time that I shaved my hair in my life.
Wow. Is this the first time you ever had a shaved head, Kuya Kim?
Yeah, that was the first time.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that. Now let's move on. This one, is this what you're talking about, your political stage in your life?
That was a political stage when I was 190 pounds, when I forgot about fitness, and I was not exercising. I was just drinking and drinking and drinking, and then eating and eating. And bali pa, my wife just gave birth here, and I was a sympathetic pregnant man. There's such a thing as sympathetic pregnancy. When your wife gains weight because she is pregnant, then the husband also gains weight. I was 190 pounds. I was so fat here. That's our old apartment in Sikia Apartments.
Is this, and if I can ask, if it's okay to ask, Kim, is this after your stroke or before?
This was before my stroke.
Also, could you say this was one of the causes that happened?
Yeah. The cause of my stroke was a hole in my heart, but it was also because I was quite unhealthy. Cholesterol was high. I was fat. This was before television.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you. Okay. And is this you right there?
That was me during my 1980s.
Look at that, guys. People watching. That's the Kuya Kim right there. Wow. This is the bodybuilding. How old were you here, Kuya Kim?
I was in my 20s. This was in 1990, I think. But from the 80s up to about 1992, my body was like this because I was, as I said, I was a competitive bodybuilder. I was off here, so I wasn't really ripped, but I was quite massive. I was about
you look big right there, Kuya Kim. Wow. And I want to ask, at what age did you start, like building your body like this?
I was in my early 20s, and back then in the 80s, this was in the 80s, what was in was not really functional fitness. Now, kasi what's in is functional fitness. Eh.
Yeah.
There's you have to jump and then you have to do all these things. Then it was pure weights for mass. The more massive you are, the more beautiful you are in the 80s. Called mass. So palaki ang
Yeah.
kami ng katawan nun. A lot of us
Yeah.
nga had no legs, chicken legs, pero the
Yeah.
torso was massive and they
Just
saw
the
it.
triangle, inverted triangle, Kuya Kim. Yeah.
But I
Okay.
have
And
legs.
next. Yeah. Okay. Next photo. This one. Right there.
That was in the
Wow.
middle of ECQ, in the middle of quarantine, when
Yeah.
I needed to be outside, and I felt that vitamin D and the sun was good in increasing my immune system, improving my immune system. So I would sunbathe every day in the morning, and I would sunbathe with my iguana, with Iggy.
Wow.
Iguanas also kasi like to sunbathe. They like to stay under the sun. So I spent a lot of time with Iggy.
Okay.
The sun. That was during.
And that's your pet right
Yeah.
there, Kuya Kim.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that is amazing. I cannot imagine myself doing that. And this, how about this? How did this photo take place? What's the story behind this photo? Okay.
That is my segment on TV Patrol. On TV Patrol kasi my segment is weather, and then after weather, I have Kaunting Kalaman. And before COVID, I would bring animals to the studio. Now kasi it's not allowed to bring animals to the studio, I'd bring animals to the studio. And this was a leopard gecko, and I was teasing around and playing around with Gretchen Folidos, my roommate, and just being funny and playing around. And then
Oh, okay.
going to say that it's actually quite harmless naman.
Okay. And what is that normal
Leopard gecko.
house?
No, that's
a leopard gecko. Wow. Okay, so that's a special gecko. Okay, and thank you for that. Thank you for that, Kuya Kim. That's where we end our short little segment for today. And I want to talk about your passion for wildlife now. Okay, if that's okay. See, I grew up watching Matanglawin. I remember waking up in the day and I was like, oh, Kuya Kim, I hear it, the legendary Matanglawin. Yeah, that gets my heart pumping, and seeing you. So this, by the way, Kuya Kim, thank you for this. This is a great honor. This fulfills my childhood dream. Okay, but anyways, going back to the topic, I want to ask you, okay? I was always wondering as a child, if I could be any animal, I'd be this, I'd be that. I never had one animal that I wanted to be. Okay? I'd ask you, Kuya Kim, if you were an animal, what would you be?
I'd be the Philippine eagle. The Philippine eagle is the most majestic of all the raptors and one of the most beautiful birds. And it's a symbol of national pride and a national identity in the Philippines. If you see the Philippine eagle in person, you will realize how beautiful that bird is and how proud it is. It really is the symbol of the Filipino. And it is in danger of getting extinct. There are only about 300 pairs in the wild. And my wife and I were very active with the Philippine Eagle Foundation. My wife sits on the board, and I'm the spokesman. I'm the ambassador for Philippine Eagle. But because we love the bird, and we adopted a couple of Philippine eagles in the center as well. But if you see the Philippine eagle in person, that look in its beautiful eyes, the powerful beak, and when it spreads its wings, it's 7 feet long. The biggest eagle in 7 feet. Yeah, it's the biggest. It's the eagle with the biggest wingspan in the world.
Oh
and
my
then
God!
Here's one more thing about the Philippine eagle that's also neat. It's monogamous. It mates has one mate in its life, and that's how I'm in love with my wife. And only one wife. They say there's a South American saying that's anonymous. Those who loved the world has loved no one. But those who loved one woman has loved the world. And that's me. And that's the Philippine eagle also.
I just got chills from that. Sana all, Kuya Kim. Wow. If your wife is watching, congrats to you. You landed a beautiful man. you landed one of the best.
I landed with a beautiful woman. If you meet my wife.
Right there. Respect, Kuya Kim. I hope I grow up one day and find I'll be monogamous too. I'll be just like the Philippine eagle. And okay, next question. I want to ask: did you always love animals as a kid? Like, were you that type of kid that saw a lizard and you just run to it and pick it up, or
actually
you were that kid?
I got my love for animals through my dad. I grew up with aquariums all over my house. My dad was a fish collector. I remember he would go fish hunting on weekends. It was allowed there. They would go fish hunting, in certain rivers and catch little aquarium fish, and he'd come home with fish, and then he'd put them in the aquariums, and he'd build beautiful aquariums. My dad was a
Wow.
fish hobbyist there. So I grew up with
Okay.
and that was my first love. My first love was actually aquarium fish. And then it got more and more and more exotic. Since I had so many aquariums, I got into frogs and I would put the frogs in aquariums. I was into terrariums. Since I was into frogs already, I got into snakes. I got into earthworms. I like creepy crawlies. Eh. The first animal that I bought with my own money, I remember I was around 13 years old, or no, 12 years old. I went to Cartimar and I
Yeah.
had 100 pesos and I bought myself a reticulated python. They were selling, they said a tame reticulated python, a baby. So I bought it. I was so excited because it was tame. And when I got home, it bit me twice.
Oh my god.
Very hard to tame a reticulated python. Eh. It's tame when you hold it a certain way, but it's never that tame, especially wild caught ones. I never tamed that python, and it escaped actually.
Oh no.
That's how it started. Now I still have into I have dogs, but I have a
Yeah.
lot of exotic animals. I breed tortoises. I have iguanas. I have monitor lizards and other
Yeah.
exotics
Okay.
in the house.
And okay, from basically what I got from our little talk today, okay, Kim, you have a lot of things on your plate. You're a dad. You're a husband. You love animals. You love your healthy lifestyle. With all of that, a man of so much duties and passion. How do you balance your time?
I'm able to balance my time. I have 24 hours, and you also have 24 hours. Just to put the more important things ahead of the less important things. Yes, I have these passions, but there are things that I'm more passionate about, and there are things that are more important. And the basic compass that you follow is whatever I do now, does it glorify my God? See, if I
Hmm.
spend more time with my hobbies and with my pets, do I glorify God that way? I don't. So what are the things that glorifies God more? There's worship, there's prayer, there's also good works, and there's friendship and fellowship with other people. Those are important. Taking care of family, spending time with kids, spending time with wife. Those are more important to worship God and to glorify God. Now the pets and the motorcycles and the watch collection. I collect so many things. They're secondary and tertiary. When I have time, then that fills in my time. I give them
Wow.
to
Okay.
those that are more important.
Yeah. So you really know what's your priorities. You know.
Oh yeah. My
Yeah.
priority is very
That's
simple. It's this. It's God, and then family, and then work, and then health.
okay.
No, sorry, and then health, and then work, and then
Okay.
hobbies. The hobbies come last.
That's wow. That's just a simple way to put your life into it. You know. That's the routine.
That's the
That's
routine.
basically the routine. Yeah.
The
Okay.
routine revolves around the priorities. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and I just remembered, Kikim, before we end today's episode, I would really love to know the story.
Hmm.
How did you coin the phrase weather lang?
It's funny, because people think that I actually invented the phrase. I did not. It
Oh, you did not.
was coined by my boss in ABS-CBN News then. Her name's Lucy Cruz Valdez. And Lucy Cruz Valdez is now the boss of news in Channel 5. And weather lang, because I do the weather, and the weather is so unpredictable. So sometimes it rains and then sometimes it's sunny. So it's weather lang. People
Yeah.
think that it's actually quite a fatalistic thing to say. Parang, just leave it up to the weather. Parang, I'm fatalist, I leave it up to the weather. No, it's actually quite biblical. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it says there's a time for everything, a time for peace, a time for war, a time to kill, a time to die, a time to laugh, a time to weep. Weather lang. That's the summary of that biblical verse, no? But in pop culture, it started with two people. The first was Leo Martinez, Congressman Manhik Manaog, in Abangan ng Susunod na Kabanata. He was a
Mhm.
corrupt congressman and he loved to say, ang buhay, weather lang. And the context was, weather natin ngayon. I'm in power now. Susunod na weather kayo na. Pero ngayon, I'm in power, weather lang. That was the context.
So that's his context of that.
Yeah.
What is your context?
Leo Martinez yan. And then Erap used it. Erap used it when he was president. He loved to use it and he was always saying, ang buhay, weather lang. And so those are the two that made it popular.
Popular, yeah.
I used it for my weather report, mainly because I do the weather, and the weather is unpredictable. It's weather lang. There.
Weather lang. Wow, as simple as that. Thank you, Kuya Kim. And this is just a little favor. Kuya Kim, can you give me a kaunting kaalaman, please?
Ay, nako, I have so much counting kalaban. You see that cabinet over there?
Okay, yes.
That's my cabinet of curiosities. I have so many fossils and I have so many artifacts in that cabinet. And if you look a little bit here, there's another cabinet.
Oh, there's another cabinet. Wow.
That is full of space objects like meteorites, tektites, etc., that I've collected through the years. If you want one, I'll give you one. Wait a minute.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Lord. Wow. Okay. Okay. This is some exclusive Youth Talks content right here, guys. Only here.
Actually, I'll give you two. You know what this is?
Wow.
No?
Okay. Is that a shark tooth?
It's a shark tooth, but see how big it is. So you can imagine how big the shark was. The shark was because this shark is extinct, and it's a prehistoric shark called megalodon. The megalodon is the mother of all the sharks, the ancestor of all sharks. But it was a big shark, as big as a bus. Now this
That's
megalodon,
the size of your face, Kikin.
yeah, it's the
Oh
size.
my
Of your
gosh.
palm. This megalodon
Oh, wow.
was found in Bicol, up in a mountain. Meaning, at one point in the history of Bicol, these mountains were underwater, and there was the megalodon swimming around those mountains. No? Megalodon. Now
Wow.
this is another piece of trivia that's quite interesting. You know what this is?
Is that a coral?
No, they're called coprolites. Coprolites
What is that?
are the Latin word copro, meaning poop or shit. These are the dinosaur,
Whoa.
fossilized dinosaur poop, coprolites.
It's that
And
cute. Wow.
yeah, scientists actually collect this so they know the diet and eating habits of dinosaurs. No? But of course, it's made of stone already. You know? I got this in
Oh,
a
yeah.
fossil shop in the States. Coprolites or dinosaur poop. And
Wow.
many,
And
many others. All
thank
here.
you. Wow. Thank you so much for that.
So whatever I collect naman kasi I'm able to use for knowledge. If ever I have these animals, they're used for knowledge. If ever I invest in these little things, they're used for knowledge naman for my
Oh,
TVs.
there's a lot of knowledge in your house, in your place, Greg. I can feel it from here. And thank you so much for being part of tonight's episode. Thank you so much, Kekim, for giving me your time, for inspiring the youth to be just like you, being healthy.
Pleasure is mine. The pleasure is mine. Since I'm here, I'll take advantage of the audience, no? You
Yes,
saw
please.
trivia, no? You saw all this. I actually started the vlog already, and I'm a beginner vlogger. The vlog is called Kuya Kim Atienza vlog on YouTube. Just type Kuya Kim Atienza, and then the vlog will come out. It's 2 weeks old, so I only have 3 episodes. The 4th episode will be uploaded tomorrow. But please like and subscribe, Kuya Kim Atienza vlog. And if you like and subscribe because of this show that I did, please indicate in comments so we can talk, we can chat. I'm very active with my vlog. And in that vlog, you can see slices of my life, and I always do trivia. And it's very heavy on motorcycles also, and triathlon, and the healthy lifestyle.
So that's the hobbies side. Wow. Okay. Thank you. I actually watched one of your vlogs right before I went in. I was watching your tattoo vlog, Kim, and I was so inspired from that. Yeah, you keep it on your arm so that you can see it. It has so much purpose.
When you put the tattoo, it has to be something that inspires you. Do not ever put anything in your body that will not inspire you, or don't put it in any hidden part of your body. Otherwise, what is it for? If the tattoo is in your back, then who sees it? Nobody. If it's in your foot, who sees it? Nobody. But if it's in your arms, and there are things that inspire you, and these are all inspiring things. These are the birthdays of my kids. These are the names of my kids. These are my biblical verses that inspire me. This is the Alpha and Omega, the symbol for Jesus Christ, and many, many other things that inspire me. And I see them every day. So when I look at my tattoos, I am inspired. If you are to put a tattoo in your body, do it in a place that you can see, and put something that will inspire you as well.
And on that note, we can leave that knowledge for all our viewers. So I'm pretty sure I have learned so much from this episode, Kim. Thank you so much. And as a small favor, can you please end tonight's episode with your famous catchphrase, please?
Sa bawat pagsubok ng panahon, lagi nating tatandaan, ang buhay ay weather lang.
Thank you so much, Kuya Kim. Thank you, everybody, for watching today's episode. I hope I can meet you in person. You're such an amazing. Thank you, guys.
I hope so.
Okay, everybody, remember, go to Kuya Kim's YouTube channel at Kim Atienza Vlogs.
Kuya Kim
And
Atienza vlog, yeah.
Kuya Kim Atienza Vlogs, and watch all the episodes. Like all of it, comment, just
Subscribe.
random buttons if you want. Just subscribe, like, comment, do anything you want. Okay, thank you so much for being part of tonight's episode. Bye, Kuya Kim.
Bye.
Goodbye, and bye everybody. Bye everybody. Good night.